Some of my little kid stories from the candy truck here for 28 years. Had a little boy, about a 5-year-old boy, come walking up to the candy truck, and he handed out or stuck out that he had a penny. And I said, well, the cheapest candy I got on the truck is 2 cents, but I'll forget the penny and you can have it for your penny. And his blank stare just nodded, and so I gave him the penny candy, or 2-cent candy, and took his penny, and I put it over here, and I looked back at him, and the kid had the meanest frown on his face, and I said, what's wrong? And he said, where is my change? That's one of them. Or I had a little girl sitting here, and I tease little kids now and then with snow cones, and I was telling her as I was making the snow cone, I said, well, you know, this will give you the energy to bark at the moon, and it'll put hair on your chest. And the little girl looked up at me kind of worried and said, I don't want hair on my chest. And I said, well, I think it puts something else on girls' chests, but I forget what the name is called right now. Little boy standing beside her, 8-year-old boy, if that, God is my witness, said, hey, it's called boobs, Mr. Bill, boobs. Thank you. I didn't need that much information, I said. Moving right along, and I've had all sorts of other stories, but running the candy truck for 28 years has been an enjoyment most of the time, and 99% of the kids are a godsend and a blessing to this city of McCook. I had 2 little boys, about 5-year-olds, come up to my candy truck. Mr. Bill, will you settle an argument for us? And I said, yeah, I'll try. They said, did you see that woman and little kid just walk by here? And I said, yeah, I saw him. And he said, well, we're arguing because, see, I'm saying that it was a girl because it had long hair. The little kid, and my brother says no, it's a boy because it didn't have, and he pointed like this up here saying it didn't have a top on. And so what was it? Was it a boy or a girl? And I had a hard time not laughing, but I didn't, and I said, well, to be exact, it was a girl, a little girl. And he said, and the other one said, yeah, but there's no top on. You got to have a top if you're a girl. And I said, well, yeah, down the road when you're get close to teenagehood, it's a pretty good idea, and on up to being a woman, you have to have a top on. That's right, in this country. But when you're, I think that little girl was no more than 3 years old, a top isn't as important as it will be in the future. Nebraska is a crazy place to live, and I've got a lot of kids' stories running my candy truck. There's no question. The craziness, how about yesterday? It was 63 degrees, nice, warm day, almost like a spring day. Today, you know, it's barely 20 degrees and it's snowing. Welcome to Nebraska. So I'll warm you up with my last kid story of the day. I had 2 little girls come up to the candy truck, and they was off to the side playing, and all of a sudden I heard them screaming and hollering. I looked up, see if there was a problem, and they was a-hopping, bent over hopping. You know, what the devil's going on? Then I realized that they was chasing a toad. 2 little girls, probably 8-year-olds, were chasing a toad. Okay, whatever. I didn't take another second thought or went back to looking at my magazine, because no self-respecting toad is going to let 2 little girls catch him. Well, of course, I was wrong. They caught a toad. Now, what does 2 little girls do with a fresh-caught toad? That's right, they bring him over to Mr. Bill and want to trade him for a snow cone. And I enjoyed the antics and the business-like thought of the 2 little girls, and so I said, okay, I'll tell you what. You go put Mr. Toad back where you got him, then go over there to the faucet and wash your hands off, and then you come back and I'll give you each a snow cone for, you know, turning him loose. But, and I couldn't just leave it that way, because there was about a dozen kids standing around listening to every word I said. And I said, this is the first and the last time I'm going to save Mr. Toad. Otherwise, Mr. Toad and Mr. Bill would have been very busy that afternoon. That's my last story. I hope you enjoyed them. Rate this film.